Alright guys, hey, welcome to a video of walking through kind of Homer3 exported data. I personally found it a little bit confusing to walk through, so I thought that I would give you guys a little kind of preview. So just for context, I'm looking here at the premotor cortex. I'm looking at oxygenated hemoglobin with my first stimuli. Obviously, you are allowed to change it to your second. Or go ahead and shift and click to find other ones. You can do deoxygenated total. For me, what I'm looking at is oxygenated hemoglobin. So I've highlighted the cortex and I have masked the channels around it because I'm not very interested in that. This is more of a visual representation of what I'm looking for, just so I can remember, because your output's just going to give you everything. It's going to give you every single channel, every single source, every single detector. Even if you highlight it and press export, you're still going to get the mass output of it. So I'm going to show you how to walk kind of through this. So this is a source. Red are sources, blues are detectors. Very important, because when you get this data here, it's right here. So it's going to tell you, obviously this is HRF. This is going to tell you what you're looking at. So in this case, it's going to be hemoglobin. This is source 3, detector 1. So for me, I like to keep this handy because I can see, okay, source 3, detector 1. Perfect. I have that one down. Okay, what am I looking for next? Source 3, detector 4. Amazing. So I already went ahead and did that one. And then I'm looking for source 6, detector 4, so I went ahead and did that one. So our last one is source 6, detector 7. So I'm going to go ahead and browse through. I mean, as you can see, I already have it here. But, let's just say for fun's sake that I didn't. We're going to go ahead and find it. So here we go. We have hemoglobin for source 7, detector 14, and then we also have the deoxygenated hemoglobin for that, and we have the total hemoglobin. So depending on what you're looking at, you need to be very, very careful, and as I said, it continues. I'm only looking for oxygenated hemoglobin concentration, so I went ahead and just kept my oxygenated hemoglobin. Since I don't need the rest, I'm going to go ahead, click and drag across to delete the rest. As I move, you can see that the ones turned into twos. This is because the ones are my first stimuli. So my first experimental condition, which for me was walking, and my second experimental condition, which is resting. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all these because I do not need them. And it's just going to be more confusing for me if I keep them on the screen. So I'm going to right click, delete. I'm going to delete the entire column and then press OK. Alright, so these are the 4 channels. My goal is to average them. It can be a little confusing for readers. I have 20 participants in total. However, I am looking for the average hemoglobin, oxygenated hemoglobin for the one cortex. So I do need to average that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag. I'm going to find this sum right here. Extend it, press average. Now I have the average of the hemoglobin concentration for this entire cortex and the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this little box in the corner. It's going to turn the plus black. So here's white and here it's black. I'm going to go ahead, click and drag that all the way down. And this will allow me to take the averages for every single row so that I don't have to go through individually and do them. So there are my averages. I'm going to go ahead, come to the top, double click, change the header to average. So when I import it to MATLAB, it's a little easier for me to see. I saved it on my Mac. And then I'm going to come down here, pull up this MATLAB. I'm going to come to the home screen. You guys might have already been there. Okay, now I'm going to come here to this arrow going down into it looks like a piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and press that. I'm going to go and find where my data was located. which for me is in my derivatives folder, and I'm going to open it. Alright, now that it's open, this is exactly what it looks like on Excel. Now it's just in MATLAB. So here's my time column, here are the channels that I chose, and then here's the average of the channels that I took. Now, you can choose to, import it in a different way. I find it the easiest way to do as a table. I'm also not extremely an expert in MATLAB, which also may have something to do with that. But I'm going to go ahead and import that. I'm going to minimize this. And then right here in my workspace is that table that I just imported, sorry. And I'm going to go ahead and double click that. So here we go. So these are my variables, and in order to plot, you need a variable. This is my time. This is the average that I took. I'm going to go ahead, click on these gray dots, and drag it over next to my time. I'm going to go to my plots just to get it ready. So there are two ways to select. You can either click and drag, or you can shift and click. Up to you. It really doesn't matter. Both get the job done. Then I'm going to go ahead and press plot. And then here we go. Here is the average for the oxygenated hemoglobin of the premotor cortex. So if I pull up Homer, you are able to see that they are pretty similar. It is important to look at labels, units, because in Homer it's in micro. Here it already does it for you, so don't worry about that too much. You can always, go ahead, press enter your X, your Y, your title. If you want to go ahead and fix that, the units of the axes, you're gonna go ahead and press axes properties. A different window is gonna open right here for you. It's loading. And then you can go ahead and change the units. You can change the font size. You can change really anything that your heart desires. So here you're going to change the limit. So, okay, let's say I didn't want to go to 30. Let's say that I want to go to 20 instead. But for some reason it popped out 30. I'm going to go ahead and change it, and it'll change it as well. So you can also you can change the color. Here we go. Of the line itself right here. You can go ahead and change it. Maybe I want it orange, maybe I want it pink, maybe I want it really dark blue and not light blue. That's pretty much up to you. This is also just for my data. Not saying anybody has to do it right like this. There are, I'm sure, better ways to do it, but as an amateur in MATLAB and Homer3, this is what I've come to know. So there you go.